make you feel good for like a moment. That it wasn't somebody deciding that you're not interesting.
Hey, we're live.
Dark Horner Studios.
Yeah. How's she going, everybody?
Herb Chugger
That was probably pretty loud on everybody's ears.
Whoa!
Yeah, Dylan returned. That's the name of the live stream. The Return of Dylan. Fun Friday is back. Because that's what fun stuff from today. Beresford put Wagwan and then deleted it.
Wagwan. Good stuff.
Anyways, fun stuff happened this week. So last weekend I put out I am now going to pronounce the L in Solder. Solder.
Yeah, I saw that. My dad saw that too, and he was like, "See the latest thing?" I'm like, "Yeah," because you had messaged me. You're like, "Which one do you say?" And I'm like, "Well, I say solder," fully acknowledging that both are valid.
Yeah.
I don't. It's one of those things like aluminium. I don't really care. It's like I know what you mean either way. Like
really quick here, Diaz, is the RE320 the Strat for a lower voice? I mean, every microphone depends. Lower voice is hard to quantify as well, right? That's kind of one of those like, how low is it? There's a lot of things in lower voice that could be a low voice. Right. It's a great mic for a lower voice. Yes, it does have a boost in the high frequencies that some people might find difficult to listen to. I love it. It needs a little bit of a de-esser for me, but it sounds fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Big Tasty. Hey, how you guys been? Good. Camille's here. Right? Beresford, Wagwan. Wagwan. That's the important words from Beresford Productions.
Wagwan.
Wagwan. So I put that video out basically saying that it was a joke. Basically what it was is me mocking the idea that we would have a problem with this whatsoever. That's all it was. I lost subscribers off that video. Like hand over fist. There were people leaving this channel. Now, this is also right around the time I got a big boost in subscribers. I've made like 2,000 this month. That came from the video where people were kind of shit-talking me for not saying solder. Also, I got to move Dylan over here. Dylan's off to there you go. No, you're good. You're good. I moved you. Don't worry. So it's kind of weird to see all these people we're getting into the video. They were enjoying it. They were just like, you don't say the L in solder. Stupid American. Ha ha ha. And so I put that video out just to mess with people. And holy crap, did I start to see the numbers decline. It was hilarious. I stand behind it. It's a stupid argument. I think
of course it is.
It's one of the dumbest things you can be mad at a person for because they grew up saying solder. That's how I was taught. When I took electronics class in high school, yes, kids, you used to be able to take that kind of stuff in high school. We were taught it's solder. Grab the solder. It blows my mind how personal people get over like these stupid little
after dumb little shit like that.
Yeah. Anyways. I also got a secondary screen, so I can now see us, and I can also see chat. I don't have to move stuff around. This is good times here. Big Tasty. I have an RE320. I think I'm a tenor, and I think it works wonderful for my voice. The RE320 is a really nicely tuned microphone.
It's packaged little package.
It's an Electro Voice. You're not going to get a pile of shit from an Electro Voice. They're great little microphones. Hey guys, looky at the 1 year icon. Oh, look at that, Dan.
Someone's a keener.
Wow. No, it's a 1 year as a member. That's wow. 1 year as a member.
I thought it was the year. Oh no, I thought you started with somebody.
A few weeks ago, you said that your MKH416 quickly suffers from phase issues. No, actually, you can suffer from phase issues in a closed environment with a long shotgun, or this is technically a medium shotgun. I haven't yet. However, I have had, you can hear some of the reflection off the desk if this is improperly placed.
Hey, why don't you try and Why don't you try and impale yourself and try it out in the ISO booth, ISOVox?
Oh no, 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 no. There is no room in the ISOVox.
That would be so menacing.
It
having
would,
that- trying to
no, because it
manage
would have
that
to be
thing.
on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
But then I would have to get down low. No, I'm not even gonna bother. So this is Camille. This is why short shotguns generally are preferred inside. However, if you have a relatively decent setup in your studio and you're not getting a lot of reflections off the walls, because the phase issue is basically you know your voice is just getting in, and due to the way that it actually filters out off-axis stuff, it can also let some of it in, which causes those phase issues. So I've only had a little bit of a problem off the desk with having reflection, but that can be easily fixed. Like if I'm doing voiceover, I'd put this down facing up at my face, and there's no issue whatsoever for a voiceover scenario. It just doesn't look good. I don't like the look of it in video. The whole reason I got this is so I can do video without a bloody microphone in shot. So, yeah. Dan says, I'm an old school electronics tech from way back. My dad was too. I had never heard of an Ellen solder until recently on YouTube. Weird. And it's funny, I've been seeing a lot of videos of YouTubers that from the UK that say solder. And that's fine. They say it with a British accent, but that's fine. I mean, do as you will. Don't care. I have started saying aluminium just because I watch so much content from the UK that it just kind of caught on. Australia as well. I'd be curious to see if Australia says solder.
I think there's one electronics guy that I follow from Australia. I forget his name, but he's like a well-known electronics guy, and he says solder.
Camille wants to know what our morning skincare routines are. I scrape the crap out of my eyes,
Sandpaper.
rub my face like this,
There you go. That's yeah.
and I get up. That's my skincare routine. DIY perks.
Mine's a little more involved.
Oh, do you actually do have a skincare routine in the morning?
I do. It's
Oh,
ineffective.
no way.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed you were a
you-
skincare routine type of guy.
You can thank me dating an esthetician. Although I have to say I have noticed differences in like the texture of it now that I've started to kind of take care of it. But so I have like a hydrating, like a face wash. It's specifically for washing your face. And then after that, I've got an exfoliative toner. That's like, I forget, I think it's glycolic acid. And so it very lightly just scrapes off dead skin cells and also sets the pH balance of your face. And then after that, I have like a Neutrogena, like a hydrating, like a moisturizer that I use after that.
I shave once a month. Yeah. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's something like once in a while, because I'll get dry skin on my upper lip and right in here.
Yeah.
So my wife has like this face cream, this Neutrogena face cream that I'll just use once in a while, but I don't like have a routine. I wash my face. Like that's about it.
Yeah.
I use bar soap. Now I'm sure your esthetician probably would like cringe.
I'm cringing only
Why?
because I know what
I
the
like
oils
bar
and that
soap.
stuff.
I like bar soap, man.
Is it you like can of soup too?
I don't mind
Can of
cans of soup.
Can of soup, bar of soap.
Can of soup, bar soap. Yeah, Hint Shrimp. Hey, buddy. Hint of Shrimp 3D. We need special glasses for this dude.
He's multi-dimensional.
I shift between solder with and without an L because I never heard of a soldering iron until high school. Interesting. I grew up kind of. I was never handy. I was always handsome. But they always. Yeah, you got to be Canadian to understand that one. So I grew up kind of playing with a lot of electronics and fucking shit up. So I've always loved the soldering iron and playing with it. I never really got serious into it until about, I don't know, 10 years ago when I started actually dicking around with stuff, because my father-in-law is like a master of it. He's a master tinkerer, if you will.
Yeah, you say like winds his own transformers. And
Yeah,
stuff.
he does all that stuff. He builds old radios. Like that's the kind of stuff that is just like, wow, that's really cool. And you know, like I've worked with him on things before, so you kind of just pick up a lot of tips and tricks.
Oh yeah.
I've had a few people like, oh, I don't know, man, your soldering technique is garbage. I'm like, I know it is, but
Yeah.
that's okay. You
Yeah, it's
can't
not-
tell people not to solder just because they don't know how to solder.
Well, and it's like it's a hobby for you. You're not charging money for it.
No.
Like fuck off. Like
Yeah.
fuck off.
And I want to play. By the way, we're also going to get to one other thing, and that's the video. I have seen creator backlash for the video that gave my channel a bit of a boost, and that was the video by DSLR Video Shooter, where he basically 3D printed an SM7B bottle or body, and then he shoved an SM58 into it and said, "Look, it's a cheap SM7B." And to be fair, he wasn't wrong. And a lot of people are like, dude, you shouldn't do that. And here's the thing. I thought the video was fun. Dude went out, he 3D printed an SM7B body, and he did something cool because he
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
We don't make videos because, well, and to be fair, the one issue he had is he was trying to sell it as like this is a cheap SM7B. Nobody should watch these videos. Like, I ripped the guts out of an SM58 and jammed it into a 2040 body.
Yeah.
I don't think people should do that. I don't think anyone should go out buy a 2040 to do that.
And that's why, you know, most channels that do that, you know, they start off where like we're doing this so you don't have to. Like
Yeah.
this is purely entertainment.
We're having fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it. Like, I talked to the guy with DSLR Video Shooter. He's sending me one of the 3D printed SM7B bodies. Just
Well, it's like that video of the guys taking the SM7 or the SM58 and hammering nails with it. Like
Oh, I
some
do plan on
jackass,
doing that.
some jackass probably watched that and just goes, "Well, you know, that's probably not very good for the microphone."
Yeah, you shouldn't
I
do
don't
that to
know.
microphones.
Yeah, you shouldn't really do that. Meanwhile, that video was actually sponsored by Shure, the company that
Right?
made the fucking microphone. It's like Jesus.
I'm actually, the plan I have is I'm trying to get enough handheld microphones together. I want to test out everything from the 8500, XM8500, all the way up to a night like the SM58. And I'm trying to get as many handhelds as I can. And I want to see which one is left standing with the most amount of damage, all the way down to being crushed by a hydraulic press. Because I've got a buddy who's a mechanic just down the street, has a hydraulic press, and I'm pretty sure he would destroy an SM58 for me. And I have a feeling the SM58 would be the last one standing, no?
I would think. I mean, that's a pretty hard ass body.
Yeah, well, I mean, then you've got
I
the
don't know
V7.
the XM1800. That's, you know, a solid contender.
Yeah, well, you never know. Those are usually the ones that can last through a nuclear meltdown before they end up...
Before they end up breaking.
Dan, Bree in 3D. Red Green Show reference makes my Friday. Yeah. Oh, Red Green. I'm part of a Red Green group on Facebook. It's awesome.
Red Green is a classic.
You can always burn a Blue Yeti on the barbecue. I would burn a Blue Yeti on the barbecue. The one I actually have is a Friends. I don't own any Blue products. I've never purchased a Blue product. I don't think I'm going to purchase a Blue product. I have the Blue handhelds. I do think I'm going to pick one up because apparently they're decent.
The blue bottle, I'd be interested. It's way overpriced now, but
That's the thing. I'm not purchasing it. I am not purchasing. If Blue wants to send it to me, I'm more than happy. As long as it's not an XL or USB mic, I'm perfectly happy to use it, to review it, to do all the things. But I'm not purchasing one.
yeah.
So the Yeti is going back to my friend. I could do like a will it burn kind of video.
Will it burn? It's like will it blend? But
Well, that's part of the. Maybe that's part of the damage that we can do to these things to see. Now the capsule would be pretty much shot if you put it in a fire, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it would be gone.
I mean, it's flammable. If it's not flammable, it's meltable, and we're talking a very thin piece of material here.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's true.
that would not go well. Though, I mean, you could try burning like the non-bit, like the where the port is and shit, and see if the electronics are sound.
Yeah, well, it would.
you
if
just
it's-
start hearing any like capacitors and like imagine. I don't know. If I'm really rich someday, I'll do that with the U87.
Nice. Well, you just take a blowtorch to it.
Yeah, exactly. No, fuck that. I'm throwing it in a goddamn, one of those like smelting furnaces.
Yeah, will it burn? Yes, in a smelting furnace it will.
A little crucible.
Diaz, shotgun mics are so good at picking up directional lines of sound that they pick up minuscule vibrations. That's insane. Yeah, shotgun mics are real impressive, but they're also a tool that they're not just a hammer, right? They're kind of a tool that requires a little bit of nuance and a little bit of skill behind it. Placement of a shotgun is not just throw it at you and you're good to go. Being aware of your surroundings is a good idea with a shotgun microphone. Sneed says, dang, microphone beatdowns. That's what I want to do. Like, I wanted to do like one test where I drag it behind my car. Another test where I hammer a nail up against a concrete wall, making sure I like slam it up against a concrete wall a few times. And then each time I would test the mic to see if it still works. And it's going to be an expensive video. Like, it's probably going to run me about $1,000. And there's the rubs. I know it'll be like, people will watch that though. So.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those trade-offs. Like, do I just spend the $1,000, get the views? Anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll see. That's one of those, it's been in the plans for a while. We'll see how it goes. Dan, seems like the 3D printed SM7B body might look more like a UA mic with the XLR coming out the back and all. I like the XLR coming out the back on those SM7B clones.
Yeah, honestly, the XLR coming out the top, I mean,
dumb.
It's aesthetically pleasing. Yes, it's fucking a pain in the ass from a practical standpoint, though.
Yep. I don't like it.
I can't, like, when I'm trying to rotate this on this stick, the cord keeps rubbing up against, and eventually I know the cord's just gonna break and I have to cut a piece
or you'll
off.
accidentally grab it by the cord and the cord's just gonna give out.
Yeah, it's yoink. This too, fucking. Yeah.
That's one of the things. I also need projects for that SM7B body. Also, I'm planning on getting a 3D printer, so I can print off and I can. Because one of the things I want to do is I do want to do some more mods. I want to play around with mods and bodies. Like, everyone's like, go just get an MXL 990. I'm like, why don't I just print one? Right?
Literally.
Like, I can get the grill. You can buy the grills for these things, and I'll get the grill. I won't print that out. But the body, why not? I mean, it doesn't seem right to go out and spend a bunch of money on a microphone just to rip it apart. So, if you guys have projects, obviously I'm going to put the SM58 capsule in it, because I want to see if that harshness in the highs, when I swapped the capsule over to the 2040, even when I just removed the transformer, there's a little bit of harshness in the highs, and I think that might have to do with body versus the SM7B, because the body has that nice hollow back. So I'm hoping that'll maybe level out the playing field between fake SM7B and real SM7B. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas on things you want, shit you want to see me like rip apart and put back together, I'm game for it. I remember way back when we first did that SM7B versus SM58 video, Dylan.
Yeah.
The first time, I was asking people, I wanted to get a dead SM7B. And it never occurred to me to just print the bloody thing. So, cool. Rick on Mike, have you considered 3D printing that SM7B housing and reviewing the SM50 and XM8500 versions? Yes, that is. Well, I'm not printing it. He's actually sending me it. He's going to send me a version of it. I sent him my address, and that's going to be happening.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could just go and get a printer and do it, but I figured this would be kind of let's see. I've never worked with 3D printed stuff.
I was going to say 3D printing, like CAD software and all that shit, is a whole barrel of worms.
But like, I'm enjoying the idea of getting involved with that barrel of worms. Like,
it would, yeah, if it's a priority, but if you're just doing it because you want to get access to something secondary to it, then it's like, it's not worth the time that you're going to end up putting into it.
No, I think it's something that I would like to build on long term. Like, I would like to be able to play with it, and
it is nice because it's pretty much the most inexpensive and like lowest risk like way of fabrication. Like, that's not going to cost you, because if you want to do wood, you got to get like 10 grand in cabinet making tools. If you want to do metal, you got to get a whole milling setup. Whereas with this, it's like you get this one machine and you get the material, and that's it. That's all you need.
Timothy says, this is a good point too. I always assumed the weird XLR connection on the 7B was meant to preserve the integrity of the resonance chamber. I wouldn't say so.
Yeah,
Who knows? It may be because it's not really like it doesn't really interrupt the resonance chamber that much more than the wiring does. But I think because of the switches back there, it does kind of the way the switches are laid out. You couldn't really put an XLR connection there. I'm sure they could rejig it now, but at the time in the 80s or what,
Yes.
70s,
Yeah.
late 70s.
Yeah.
Camille. Oh, okay. So I'm getting behind here. I'm getting behind. Let's cheap mic for streaming. AT35 or Neat King B2. King B2. I like the King B2. AT2035 is decent. You know what? It depends on how big you want the mic to be. The one thing that's going for the 2035, from a sound perspective, I mean, depends on your voice. The AT2035 is a whole lot smaller than the King B2. The King B2 is massive.
Chunky lad.
It can really get in the way of a lot of things. It actually ended up annoying me after a while. I stopped using it as my main microphone on my computer or on my morning show because it literally got in the way of me reading prep. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I'd go 2035 if that would bother you. Big Tasty, you can buy the SM7B capsule for $159 US. Oh, Big Tasty, you beautiful man. I'm guessing you're a man since your name's Ben. And the beard.
It could be Benjamina. You don't know.
You could be Benjamina. I'm going to buy an SM7B capsule. Shit, I wish I had somebody at Shure that could send me one. Shure just does not. Like, it's all their social team. But I'll just buy it. Fuck it. I'll spend the money on that. That sounds like it would be a fun video.
Yeah, I would say.
Because that would make it a cheap SM7B. If you can get a capsule for $159, plus technically, what would it cost to print that off at a store? What, maybe $30 to print it off at a 3D print shop?
Like to print the casing? Well, you'd have to get the actual schematic from somebody.
Well, I think he provides that in his video.
Oh, there you go.
So you take the schematic at what, $30 you figure?
I've never 3D printed anything, so I have no idea what that would
Can't
go
be
for.
that expensive. It's just a bunch of plastic crap.
Yeah, it's a bunch of resin. It's like
that's a great idea, Ben. I'm putting that in my back pocket. Watch for that video in the next couple months. That's coming. Camille. Oh, Camille, this is a great question. And I'm going to let Dylan go first. What do you think is the most overrated microphone, Dylan? Out somebody, man. Out them. Come on.
the SM7B. I mean, am I wrong? Like,
man.
and again, I say this, and so this is a good lesson, right? To all those people that complain whenever we shit on a product and they take personal offense to it. I've purchased it. I use it every day, and I'm still saying it's overrated.
Well, it's overrated for its price. If it would actually be priced what it was supposed to be.
Don't get me wrong. It's a good microphone, but the fact that everyone literally flocks to this as a symbol of success. It's literally because of the price. As anyone who's ever bought an SM7 on a whim knows, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. If you don't know what you're doing, it's a pain in the ass.
I would say the XM8500.
Is that even rated at all, let alone overrated?
It's super cheap, which makes it like that's the reason it kind of gets a pass. But the idea of how much people love it, it kind of blows my mind. I have no idea what. Oh, yeah. But our dogs got sprayed by a skunk this morning, so they're a little on edge today. Dan, I want to see you tear the guts out of a C414 XLS. Dan, I'm willing to do that. If I get another 100 members on this channel, I will do that. When I get to 100 members on Dark Corner Studios, I will literally tear apart an XLS. Okay? You can take that to the bank. Dylan's looking worried. You know how many enemies I would make by tearing apart an XLS?
Yeah.
That would not go over well. Ooh,
I
that
mean,
would not go over well.
you'd make a splash in the business. We'll say that.
See, here's the thing. I need to have a reason to do it, though. So I'd need to tear the guts out of it. Maybe I would put like a cheap, just put a cheap the C12 replacement for the capsule, or for the whatchamacallit. Yeah, you know the C12 replacement you can get.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see if I can replace that. See if it sounds just as good.
That'd be an interesting
I
project.
would piss so many people off.
Yep.
Dan says, kidding. I'm willing to do it. Like, I'm literally, as long as it's not putting, like, taking food off my table, I'm
Yeah.
more than willing to have fun with a lot of this stuff. And I think, like, that's kind of one of the things, I was going over it earlier this week, where I was, you know, like, I've stopped doing USB mic videos. By the way, Monday is the last USB mic video I'm going to be doing outside of USB mics like the MV7 or the MV7. I'm pretty much going to be packing them in. I'm not going to be doing any more like small USB, look at this tiny little bundle of joy, unless it's got a large want for it. I think I've kind of reached my limit where I'm like, nobody likes the videos. Nobody watches the videos. Why am I doing the videos? So, and it's a lot of companies are like, hey man, do you want to, you know, we'll send you our mic, but you got to review the USB. No, thanks. That's all I'm going to start saying.
I'm good.
I don't need the extra mics on me. And yeah, I was thinking like what ways I can take this to more of a just a mic A versus mic B. And I think the modding angle is kind of the way to go. People seem to really like the concept. So, and when Dylan's in town, this is going to be fun because I think you're probably better at soldering than I am.
Maybe by a little bit, not by a ton, but yeah.
Do you solder a lot?
Yeah, I have soldered a lot. Yeah, I used to make all my own cables.
Yeah, and I've done that too, and it's fun. And I actually thought like that might be a decent video. How to make your own XLR cables. Pretty simple, 3-minute long video, but why not, right?
Yeah. And if you're doing a lot of them, it can actually save you a good chunk of money too.
Yeah, but you've got to do a lot. I mean,
Well, you've got to be making like 50 cables, which if you're setting up a studio or you're re-outfitting with all new cabling, or you're installing a patch bay, for example, you're going to need a lot of cables. So
you're going to be so disappointed in me when you see my studio again, Dylan. So disappointed.
this is just a mess.
It's brutal, buddy. I can't move in here.
Hey, I'm in the middle of moving. I'm kind of in a similar situation.
Oh, yeah? How are you getting the desk out of there? Does it come apart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the top comes off and the two racks are separate, and then there's a back plate that's kind of connects the rack together. So I'll take all. Well, I got to take all the gear out. I got to literally unplug everything.
Oh wait! Shocker, by the way, Big Tasty Ben is a guy. I would have never guessed, man.
I was really rooting for Benjamina, man. I was really rooting for Benjamina.
Benifer. Blue Yeti, overrated then and now. Yeah. Well, you know what? The Blue Yeti, I haven't met many people who are into audio that really like the Blue Yeti.
Yeah.
So
I could say I don't think I've met anyone who's into audio that. Now, I feel like now that I've said that, I'm about to, in the comments in about 2 seconds, meet someone who's into audio that's a fan of the Blue Yeti.
Once you've recapped something completely, you've gotten some good soldering practice under the belt. Yeah, and I've recapped before. It's been a long time since I've recapped anything completely.
Oh, yeah, recap a board, recap a console. That'll do it.
It's been quite a while. Camille, cheers, brother. 2 beer. Thanks, man. Thanks for the super chat.
That's it. Like soldering cables and doing sort of the difficulty with soldering cables, is you're usually sometimes you're doing it in not a very ideal set. Like you're not doing it on a desk. Sometimes you're doing it, under a rack panel somewhere. Yeah. Having a hot stick in that close proximity is not fun. Then PCBs have their own, soldering on PCBs is its own challenge. Like anytime I have a speaker blow a filter cap or something, I'm like, fuck, now I gotta get all the shit out, and now I gotta, it's a whole ordeal.
It's a process, yeah. I've gotten really good at having 3 hands. That's been the big problem, and is learning the little tricks.
Oh yeah, the little dexterity tricks.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part for me, and not burning yourself while doing it.
Yeah,
because that's always a problem.
Always.
Yeah, Beresford, SM7B is the correct answer. Yes, you know what? I love the SM7B for a lot of things. I don't use it very much, just because I have so many options. And for me to actually put a mic in front of my face, I would much rather just put a condenser in front of my face. I don't know why.
Well,
I'm using the
especially
SM7B.
like I think it's not a bad mic, but for the price to what the mic is and how easy it is to work with, that's another big part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
There are way better options that are more balanced in all three of those categories. The
Or just-
SM7 is not.
Or just an SM58.
Yeah.
Rick on Mike, have you considered the SM57 versus Pyle Pidmic 78 versus Behringer SL75C versus any other clones? The 57 I've worked with, I put an SM58 up against a Pidmic. I hate Pyle. I will never purchase another one of their mics. That is the biggest waste of $13 that I've ever spent. Behringer, I buy very few Behringers. But yeah, I've done a few of the clones. Like I did the Behringer XM1800S, and stuff like that. I came to a point where I didn't want to buy crappy mics just for the sake of a video, because I have so many crappy mics. I don't need more. I would rather, like, maybe for doing a lot of like experimentation with ripping shit apart. Sure, like I'll take the Pidmic and put like the Shure capsule in it. Why not? But I don't think I'm going to be buying any shitty mics just for those comparisons. Because one, a lot of people don't care. Like nobody that buys a Pyle mic is going on to look at the reviews of the Pyle mic.
No.
Because you know what you're getting with a $13 mic. Behringer does have a bit more of a following, but again, people know what they're getting when they buy a Behringer.
Yep.
So you don't see a lot of great traction with those videos, which is the other thing. I don't like, I want to do videos that I want to do. Those aren't videos I want to do. Or I want to do videos that are going to get traction. It's going to be a lot of fun to have a lot of conversation around. And those I don't think will create conversation. Especially around Pyle products or even Behringer. As much as it pains me, I will work with Behringer. I just not going out of my way to purchase them.
No.
I've experimented with some cheap and expensive pencil condenser mics. I was surprised by the $50 Behringer C2, but disappointed by the $100 Samson CO2. I want to get my hands on both of those. Mm-hmm. I want to get more into pencil mics, and I want to do a little bit more with that. Maybe that's on the cards too. That would be kind of fun. I dropped my P170. How bad is that when you drop them?
Not that bad. I mean, not as bad as I generally don't recommend dropping any piece of equipment, but
I did from about 5 feet, man.
It could, my P170s have hit the floor a few times, only because the clips are absolutely shitty on the P170. They may have fixed them, but in my first generation P170s, the clip is loose as shell.
Yeah, they suck.
One little movement or one little tug on the cable and the mic pops out of the clip, and you're like, Jesus.
Yeah. Camille says, I've got 4 SM7Bs. Well, and you know what? Like, once again, it's still a microphone that Michael Jackson used, right? Like,
well, they're great microphones, but the fact that in the prosumer space that they're as revered as they are tells me that people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because again, the SM7B is a great mic if you know what you're doing, but a lot of people that own one don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's not a podcasting mic.
No,
Ooh,
no.
Spicy take. Yeah.
Spicy take.
I'm working overtime on a computer without audio. Oh, Sean. Sean's not even going to hear me saying that. Sean doesn't even know I actually responded to him. Sean, we love you, buddy. Well, look forward to you watching the stream later. And then you'll finally know that we talked about you, Sean. Dan says, that sucks. I have a feeling Dan's talking about me not doing Behringer or something. I'm not sure. Andrew C. Rode Procaster is a quarter of the price of SM7B in Australia, so it's a no-brainer. Price to performance, North American ratio seems smaller. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I've got a video coming up where Rode is actually involved in it. I reached out to them and I wanted to do a specific type of microphone comparison explainer video, and they're all for it. And the one thing they asked me, like, do you need any mics? And I'm like, I could use a dynamic, but I got the NT2A. Right?
Oh, get a couple NT5s, get some pencils.
Well, no, he's getting like because I'm doing a shotgun versus standard versus shotgun standard. Oh, and lav. So I'm getting those three. Like what microphone should you use for your content creation? That was the concept I wanted to do, and it's basically the pros and cons of each. Right? That's the basic concept of the video. And he's like, hey, do you want any any other mics? And I'm like, eh. And I forgot to ask for a Procaster. I think that's the only one I would really want. I know they've got a USB one, but it's like $300. I'm not a big fan of their pod mic. So it's kind of one of those scenarios where I'm like, oh yeah, love it, yeah, send me over whatever you got. So, but yeah, I mean, especially if you're in Australia, Rode's going to be super cheap because they're on your doorstep. Yeah. Bringing stuff over, and I can say from experience, it takes a long time to get shit from Rode in Australia. So yeah, the only Behringer I've been seriously looking at is the DeepMind. That's from Dan. What is the Behringer DeepMind?
No
Dylan,
idea.
can you look that up?
It sounds terrifying.
Is that like brain control? That'd be cool.
I don't like it.
Play your guitar with guitar. Sean, I'm going to take a trip to Niagara Falls soon and try out my Sennheiser MKE 600 near Niagara Falls, near the Niagara River. Well, that's good. If you want to get the sound of rushing water, that's a great mic to do it. Although I would,
I just, I'm not even gonna go there.
No, what?
I didn't type Behringer. I just typed DeepMind into Google, and literally the first thing that came up was like this company that does
Neuralink?
cranial prolapse. You can't make this shit up. Oh God.
What is? No. I'm not gonna ask. No, I'm sorry. Oh, it's a Roland Juno ripoff. It's a synth. Okay, so Behringer's good with synth, man. Like, and that was the thing when
I've heard that. I've heard Behringer has some good synthesizers.
Like they're decent synths. And a lot of people attacked me for my Behringer video. So no, I love this synth and that synth and this synth, and they're cool. Like, I'm not talking about their synths, man. Their microphones are the issue. Their microphones
and their microphones and their speakers, and there's a few other product lines that they have that they shouldn't.
Also,
although I mean, lots of people buy them, so maybe.
Yeah. Also, Sean, if you take your Sennheiser MKE 600 near the Niagara River or anywhere near the falls, it's going to get soaked. If you've ever been to Niagara Falls, it gets real misty there. Real misty.
Yeah, real misty. Especially if you go on the Maid of the Misty.
Andrew says, enjoyed your phonetic video. Thank you. I don't.
Solder.
I was telling my friends about that. I like was losing subscribers from that video. And they're like, that just made it better. Like, that makes the video. I'm not taking the video down. I'm leaving it because it's part of the heritage of Dark Corner Studios. Make sure I have a doozy for April 1st. See, and that's the thing. Up until now, I haven't been doing any like specialized, like, I have nothing planned for Halloween. Maybe I should dress up for that video. I don't know.
Super cardioid man.
Super cardioid man. But I think I need to. And I don't know why I think I need to. I'm not the type of person that does. I'll do April 1st. Like, I will do April Fool's Day. Like, that's cool. I can do that shit, no problem. I can do, special dates. Like, if there's like a big anniversary of something, like the SM58 turns 100, I would be more than happy to do a video, looking at the SM58 under some light.
Are we even going to be alive?
2060. So I'll be in my late 80s, but I'll be there.
We'll see, assuming, the world doesn't fall apart between now and then.
Camille says, oh, this is a good one. Okay. Sean wants to know if I can be more expressive with my hand gestures. So.
Wow. Why would you want something like that? No way.
All right. Camille, SM7B, not a podcasting mic. Tell me more. Well, it's a podcasting mic for people that know how to use it properly, but I would say the large portion of people that have it as a podcasting mic don't know how to use it unless they're using a Rodecaster Pro.
the vast majority of podcasters are not audio people. Now, there are some amazing podcasters that are, but the vast majority of people making podcasts are not audio people.
And and I will kind of bookend that statement with one thing. Look on the used market whenever somebody's like, or on podcast groups, they're always selling a Rodecaster Pro or Shure mics, Shure SM7Bs. The pod mics have taken over though. A lot of people are buying the pod mics instead of the SM7Bs. It's kind of like the cheaper version. But yeah, like Dylan is miming. So yeah, I think there's a lot more you can do with other dynamic microphones than an SM7B as a podcast mic. If you know what you're doing with an SM7B, please use it as a podcast microphone. But there's a lot of really bad audio being captured out there by podcasters with SM7Bs.
Yep. Well, because they're not doing anything with the audio. They're just
gaining the shit out of it, and it sounds really noisy and nasty, and yeah, there's a bunch of that stuff. Dylan, is that where they say Jimmy ended up? Oh, Jimmy Hoffa. I don't know where Jimmy Hoffa is. I thought he was under like a stadium center field thing or something.
He's murdered somewhere.
Yeah, Andrew C. I would encourage people to listen to the 20,000 Hertz podcast and on the SM7B. It's a great podcast for people interested in sound. It is. 20,000 Hertz podcast is fantastic. Timothy Anderson, late to the topic. I use an SM7B with a cloud lifter for my podcast. It's great, but I regularly consider selling it to buy more 57 so I can have more friends on the podcast. Yeah, the 57 with that attachment it has. It's the
pop
same
filter.
Yeah, I forget what they call it, but it's the pop filter they use. Like the president uses that mic,
like a windscreen or something.
Yeah, and it makes it look like an actual professional microphone. So when you watch the president giving an address,
when you're looking at an address from like the East Wing or whatever, you're seeing a souped up 57.
Yeah, and it's basically a cheap windscreen you put on the front of it. You will get a lot of great use out of that microphone if you had a bunch of 57s. Just lined up for your friends. I think a lot of people, well, no, I don't think. I know a lot of people just go for the SM7B because it's the mic to get.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, that's the problem, right?
Yeah. I mean, which is not like it's not. I mean, there's so many more microphones you can get that'll do a much better job.
Yeah.
So many more. And a lot cheaper too. You won't blow your budget on it as well. That's the big deal. So what time? Oh wow, we're already at 6 o'clock, Dylan. Holy crap. By the way, what are your plans? So when are you moving up?
End of September.
End of September.
And yeah.
So kids, you might have to sit through another solo live stream with me.
A little solo John. I mean, I'm still planning on like working up until the last week. So if everything goes according to plan, I should only miss like a week or two of the live.
Not worried. Don't worry. I have 2 with the big windscreens. They are amazing. Yeah. Oh, SM57, same price as a Procaster in Australia. Wow, that's cheap. Andrew, I might get you to send me some Procasters. A2WS or A81WS with the A55M shock mount. It has a shock mount for the 57? That's cool. I should get a souped up SM57. That's what I should get.
Yeah, get a rockin' 57 with the pony package and
What's the pony package? Do I want to know?
Like with Mustangs?
Oh, with Mustangs.
It's a trim kit.
Rick on mic. Dylan, I believe you're using the Shure SRH840 headphones. Good guess.
That was a good guess.
Have you tried the 840A? Those are the new ones. I need to get a pair of those. Are they much different? My Sweetwater guy suggested them. I love them. I didn't see lots of videos for the new one. There aren't a lot of videos because headphone videos are really hard to do.
Well, yeah, because they're like you can't demonstrate anything.
No, these are better for this reason. I mean, that's pretty much.
These sound cool. Well, it's like I just what did I get? I got, because I'm going to be traveling and ripping everything apart. I got myself a pair of earbuds, like wireless earbuds. But I went for the Sonys because they seem to be in without getting into in-ear monitor territory, which I'm not looking for. I'm looking for something portable, and that's mostly for consumer listening and utility. And these are good. I mean, so far I've only got like a day experience with them, but the noise canceling is good. The battery power is good. They're tiny.
Yeah. I bought the Galaxy Buds Pro.
Oh yeah.
Love them. They get a little uncomfortable. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I've never been an earbuds person. I like the headphones, but the problem is every single time I've gone to travel with a pair of Shure headphones, they always break.
Oh,
every
really?
single time. Yeah. Well, because they like this is not very strong plastic around here.
No, and also the top headband is like cardboard, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not.
I'm
it's not-
pretty sure
yeah.
it's cardboard because
Yeah.
mine have that bend in them that just looks. I'm actually going to tear them apart and going to find out what's going on with them.
They're like, I love these headphones. They're great. They're comfortable. They're good for long wear. But for something like if I'm out and about, I needed something. And yeah, these again, are they the best headphones I've ever used? No. Are they the best earbuds I've ever used? Yes. Are they functional? Yeah, but again, it's hard to do a review of them, even though like Linus did a review and like several other people have. But it's like, oh, they sound good. It's like, well, it says you. What, like,
Thanks. Well, and that's the thing. Like with the Bear Dynamic DT770 Pro, I was able to do a video on that because I had a specific message for the video about why I don't recommend these for people.
yeah.
But like headphones are so, and it's such a it's like giving a review on underwear. This underwear perfectly fits my junk in the pocket, right? That's exactly what I'd be saying about it. But then you go, well, these headphones have perfect clamping pressure. My head is the size of a large watermelon. That doesn't help you much, right?
Sean has gone full savage.
Oh no. Do I
love
want to know?
Fair, but yeah.
I didn't read the any tips or feedback to those that review mics or want to in the future. Okay, let me get into that one in a second. Let me catch up to that one first. Dan says, I want that kind of mic that Jack Barry used on the Joker's Wild game show. Oh, that was the long skinny one, wasn't it? The same thing that Bob Barker used, I think. On special $1.79. Okay. Any tips or feedback to those that review mics or want to in the future? Any kind of tech review? Have a way to get the product, at least borrow, or find a way to get the product.
Also, if you can, script it out.
Oh, 100%. 110%. Don't do what I did where you just sit there and ramble for like 40 minutes in front of a camera and then put that shit together. It's
Yeah,
bad
invest in a prompter.
The Glide Gear teleprompter is the only way to do it. And just like find a delivery that works for you. Find like I kind of molded my videos around what Linus Tech Tips did with his tech videos.
Mm-hmm.
The way I present them, the ability or the attempted humor intermingled with it, that kind of stuff. And I wanted that because I felt like that would separate me from the rest of the group. And that's something, if you're going to be a tech reviewer, or if you're going to be a microphone reviewer, find a way to just separate yourself a bit from the rest of the group. Do something a little differently. Give it maybe your expertise on something very specific will separate you, or something like that. Welcome to the crowd if you're going to do that, though. Like if that's something you really want to do, give her. You will go broke in a real hurry if you're going to be buying them all. Also, make sure you have something more than just this is what this mic is and this is what it sounds like. Give every piece of content you do should have a spin to it. And the way I describe that is kind of the way I do my morning show. So when I got a job as a morning show host, the one thing that one of my old teachers told me was, if you can Google it, you shouldn't talk about it. Everything you talk about should have your own unique spin to it. And that's what I try to do with all the videos. I try to put a unique spin to everything that I do. And that's what separates me from some of the other people in the microphone field. So, yeah. One of the best things you can do, and I never told you to do it, was order it off Amazon and return it when you're done. Mm-hmm. You don't get a lot of microphones to build up to do comparisons with, But I did that in the beginning because, man, it's hard. Like you got to be consistent on YouTube. So, good luck, man. I really hope you can find a foothold in it. It takes forever. Oh, that's the other thing I'll have to tell you. There's no such thing as a video that goes viral. No, there's no such thing as a viral video in microphone tech. So in cell phone tech, there might be. Like when the new cell phone comes out and you got MKBHD holding it out there and like, this is a first look at the new iPhone 14, that might go viral. But like none of Podcastage's videos have gone viral. So, and that's the reason is because we're very niche. Microphones and audio gear is so niche that people aren't just like, oh my God, there's a new Shure mic. And like, no, it's not like that. Everyone owns a phone. Not everybody owns a mic. So you want to have more videos. The more videos you have, the more views you'll get. And it will kind of snowball that way. It will never snowball off of a viral video. Just don't expect that. All right. Thank you, Sean. So make sure there's minimal external noise and stuff. Nice. Sean's being mean. Now that I've seen your handwork, could you add some footwork for me? That's where I draw the line, dude. I don't show my feet on video. I don't need any weird messages from you, dude. If that was a unique way to just get me to show you my feet, you sick freak. Stu George, hey there, you survived PEI and they let you go. I heard you had stories about the inside of the jail there. No, I didn't go to jail in PEI. I'm too old for that shit now. Big Tasty, in-ear buds give me zips no matter how clean my ears are, unless zits. Oh, yeah, zits.
Yeah, you corrected it.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that if you're prone to that stuff, in-ear buds are going to be rough. There are some that sit on the outside. I do not like any earbuds that just sit on the outside. I need penetration.
Well, even
I need penetration,
even
baby.
Like the thing is I said there's two benefits. I was just saying this to someone today. There's two benefits to wired earbuds. Number one, well, actually three. The sound quality is probably going to be better.
Yeah.
There's no latency, or at least no perceivable latency. There's you don't have to charge them. And then fourth, and most importantly, if they fall out of your head, they're literally tethered to you.
Yeah.
If these little things that I have, they're just free sitting. If one of those falls out and I'm running, it's getting crunched.
Yeah.
Like it's rolling down the sidewalk. Like,
well, that's why the Google Galaxy Buds Pro 2 or whatever they are, they're nice because they're big enough where if they fall out, you can find them. But there's some that if they fall in the grass, they're gone.
Oh yeah. Especially if it's nighttime and you've got black earbuds or something. Like these are big enough that if you drop one in a snowbank, you're gonna see it. It's pretty obvious, but it's secure enough that it's you don't feel nervous about that happening.
Well, you can also feel them kind of slipping out, and you can just kind of tuck them back in. Yeah. What are we talking about? We should clip that so people can guess. Camille,
short.
Yeah, that's a good short, right? Camille, an underwear review with catwalk. That will boost the viewing. No one needs to see that.
Depends who's on the catwalk.
BGS Smoke. I'm a tech creator on All Around Antics. I write little notes, but I have companies that are starting to value my feedback, so they send me mics, headsets. Thank you guys. It means a lot. Dude, if you're getting stuff sent to you
already,
I will tell you, it takes a while. Like, you think you're like, well, people are going to love this, right? Just put this out. One is the algorithm has no idea what your content is until you get several videos in. So you need, like I said, you still need a lot of videos in before mic people start going, oh, there's a new dude on the scene. So just start putting the shit out. And literally, if you've got the products in front of you, start putting the stuff out. Make sure you're structured and make sure you offer something just a little bit different than everybody else, and you'll be perfectly fine. Really, I mean that. Good luck, brother. Hopefully you got a lot of ideas out of that. Boxes versus Briefs, the Cat's Pajamas channel. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Andrew C. TechMed. Cheers, brother. Thanks for that, man. We got another 2 beer, Dylan.
Woo!
Waiting for Mike's review that combines microphones for the love of explosives. Need a deep budget, though. I thought about actually strapping explosives to the handheld microphones to see if they would survive like a firework set off right beside them. Because that SPL, the sound.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
What?
That would be intense.
The pressure on the capsule from the explosion.
In the recording, all you hear is, and then it just stops.
Well, no, I wouldn't have the microphone hooked up. Recording.
You should make your own ribbon mic and then do that to the ribbon mic.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I like the sound of that.
Oh my God.
I was thinking about the return thing. Yeah, the return thing is dirty, but you know what? At the same time,
I've done it. I think anyone who's needed to review stuff has done it.
Yeah, and sometimes you know what I mean. It's just like the Scarlet.
I've done it for shows.
Yeah,
like I'll rent it for like a gig and then bring it all back, and like they're like, you didn't rent this though, you bought it, so we got to give you all the money back. I'm like, yeah.
I think the problem is most people can't hear the difference from a newer $10 and $1,000 mic on YouTube. That's actually, yes, you can. I think most people don't have the ears trained to hear the frequencies. That comes from Stu. So even me, and Dylan still, once in a while, you're like, oh, and your ears are constantly developing with sound and with frequencies. Airiness took me a while to hear
airy. Yeah. Well, and a lot of times you're hearing it, but you don't know what it is because you haven't identified it yet. It's kind of like, they often say you learn perfect pitch, so to speak, in the first 9 months of your life. You learn perfect pitch.
Yep.
Because your brain identifies music in the same way that it identifies a language. So it pays attention to musical tones in the same way that you would do it. And it's like, okay, so your brain now can distinguish different pieces, and it's opened up a little bit of a tunnel for you, but you still haven't learned what those pieces are yet.
Yeah, and also...
So you got to learn all that.
If you're listening to it on a pair of $20 headphones...
Yeah.
There's also the problem where... So if you have a $20 pair of headphones that can't reproduce 8,000 and up, you're not going to hear the difference between two microphones that are $10 or $1,000, or at least you won't hear the most important parts of that microphone.
Yeah.
If it can't produce if your headphones can't produce anything below 250, it's like, and earbuds are like that. Earbuds don't really reproduce 250 and under. So, not cheap ones. Some of the nicer ones can, if the in-ear. But
well, the active ones can, but passive, earbuds are not generally very...
There's another thing that stands in people's way. If you're listening on laptop speakers, if you're listening on 3-inch rockets, you're not going to be able to accurately reproduce a lot of the frequencies that people use to tell those things apart. So there's a lot of things in the way there of us. And that's part of the frustration when doing this is that you get people like, I don't hear a difference. And it's like, cool. But there are people that
Good
do.
for you. Yeah.
My favorite is when people are like, oh, it was clear as night and day. I was listening on earbuds and I could hear it. And then other people start calling them out on it. Like, no, you didn't. Shut the hell up.
Fucking shut up. Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. And yeah, there are a lot of people that can't hear the difference on a lot of stuff. But then, I mean, most people aren't working around audio 24/7, right? And so it's kind of a who are you doing the videos for? So when I do a video and I tell you that the SM58 doesn't sound that much different from the SM7B when you remove the transformer, you can do one of two things. You can tell me I'm stupid, or you can go, maybe he knows. All right, I can't hear the difference, or whatever, right? So I think I think that's also part of the trust in reviewers, that reviewers aren't trying to fuck you over by making you buy an expensive piece of equipment, right? Booth Junkie keeps preaching to treat your space before upgrading your mic, but you have to be at a minimum technical quality in the mic first. Don't just spend thousands and be surprised. To a degree, I would say like you could buy the King B2, which is super cheap, and get a great response out of it that'll sound shitty in a bad room. Like you can sound horrible with a great mic. You can sound great with a horrible mic.
There's a lot of factors. The mic is not the only determining factor of sound quality.
Dan Mellon, my old professor, is using an AKGP 220, which is a $150 mic.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you.
Let me
couple
tell you about my
stories.
son's hockey game.
It was pretty good, yeah. My expertise is more on the video side than audio, but even when people can't articulate what's wrong with video quality, bad video makes a difference. When listening to a bad podcast recording, yikes.
Yep.
I think Sean has audio now.
Yeah. Well, apparently. Well, it's true though. Sometimes people will be able to identify that something is not good, but not be able to articulate why it's not good.
Yeah.
Right? Like people know generally when they hear something shitty or when they see something that was poorly filmed, there's little triggers, flags that pop up in your brain going, this is amateur. But then when you see something better, you're like, but people that aren't trained in either of those things won't be able to necessarily articulate what it is about it that's better.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I listened to a U87 AI. It doesn't impress me on my voice. That said, when I listen to it, I'm like, holy crap, that's smooth as fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you're listening to it, that difference between the NT2A and the U87 AI. The NT2A sounds good. It doesn't sound as good as the U87 AI. And you just know that. You know that by ear. And after a while, it will come. And yes, on YouTube does compress, but it doesn't compress to the point where you can't hear, all 10,000 up. It doesn't compress. So YouTube doesn't compress that much.
No.
So, phonetic tomato exit. Phonetic tomato exit. Yes, tomatoes.
Tomato.
Ears get tired with more noise, harsh frequencies. Oh, and this is the one thing that drives me nuts about doing reviews on stuff where people are like, oh, just EQ it out. You can't, if there are harsh frequencies, you can't just EQ harsh. You can turn down harsh, but you can't take harshness out of a frequency. If it's distorted, it's distorted.
Well, and I think as far as repairs go, I think dynamic EQs are a little bit more useful because the problem is nothing in the real world is uniform, so to speak.
No.
I mean, when there's a frequency spike, it could be the orientation of your mouth. So as soon as you move an inch, it goes away. But then if you put an EQ curve knocking that down, you're artificially introducing a notch into the signal. And that notch is not necessarily adjusting depending on the change in the situation. So yeah, I generally try to stay away from EQing stuff because the mic sounds bad and I just use a better mic.
Oh, and that's also a nightmare for a producer. Just EQing it out when you have 22 sources that you have to just EQ out. Oh God, could you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and a lot of times you end up doing like multiple layers of EQ. Like you might have a fixed EQ to get rid of some comb filtering, and then you might have or to do some comb filtering to get rid of some hum, and then you might have another layer of EQ that's dynamic, that's bringing up some of the top end when it gets too muddy. Like there's, you can sometimes, depending on the repair job, you could have 4 EQs in a row.
And you have that frequency at about 5,000 that sounds like a screech. Yay. Whether you can tell the difference or not, is that right? Oh, yes. No, ears get super tired. Your brain, you can...
Yeah, ear fatigue.
Severe fatigue from bad sounding audio is a thing. The 1800S, go watch my video on it and tell me.
Nope.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm telling Timothy. I just search XM1800S on my channel. I did a video on it. Listen to the XM1800S and tell me if you get exhausted by the end of it. I did. Dylan got super exhausted on it. And he just watched it. I had to produce the freaking thing. So yeah, it is very exhausting because your brain tries filtering a lot of that stuff out itself. So when there's a sound in your ear that your brain doesn't like or you don't like, your brain will actively try to filter it out
suppress
naturally.
It. Yeah,
it's kind of like the way that you don't see your nose.
There's a lot of things like have you ever heard of something called temporal masking?
It sounds familiar.
It's what happens when if you hear two frequencies, one is loud and one is a little quieter, and the quieter one is really close in frequency to the loud one. Your brain just completely ignores the slightly lower frequency.
Interesting.
There's another thing called temporal fusion, where if you hear two sounds that are within, I think it's within like 50 milliseconds of each other or something, your brain just makes them one. It just merges them together.
Isn't that the way they do that? How you hear the same two different words in the same piece of audio? You remember they had like one was, it was an effect that you'd listen to it and you'd hear it one name like Catherine. Then all of a sudden it keeps playing and it's saying a completely different name.
Oh yeah.
That I think was the same thing. So if you think about it, if you try to focus on a specific word, you'll hear that word in it. I believe that's where I heard the temporal masking thing from. I believe.
There's a whole conversation happening here that Miss Ravioli is
Miss Ravioli.
Here. Hello, Miss Ravioli.
Cheers. Yeah, you should set an alarm. We're here every day at the same time.
I have to set an alarm too. Don't feel bad.
I play video games until we go live. So
yeah.
so my dog getting sprayed by the reason we're doing the USB video on Monday is because my dogs got sprayed and my house smells like skunk. Like not even the good skunk. We're talking the bad skunk. So I can't sit at my computer and concentrate enough to actually and I was going to shoot a video. I'm also super like gross and sticky from the whole day, so I can't shoot it anyways.
Me too. Different reason, but
Aflac. FLAC audio. I'm guessing
FLAC.
what FLAC is what you're talking about. Yeah, everybody's talking to themselves. Rick on mic, going back to the SM7B, I have one for music and other things. What would I need to make it usable for live purposes? Live streaming Zoom? A DBX286, would that do it? It'd make it okay. It's not going to blow anyone away. It also depends on what, like 60 dB, man, of clean gain to get the bare minimum out of it. If you don't have that, you might want to get a cloud lifter. It depends on what your interface is. Are you just laughing at all the messages?
No, I'm laughing at you.
At what?
And you will too once you realize.
All right, let me get down there. Sean, I suffer from typing. It's amazing how they don't even need us here, right?
I know there's a whole conversation happening.
I didn't see my nose until you said something. And that's what your brain, the power of your brain, it deletes that. So when you think about your memories also, your brain actually doesn't memorize your hands being in memories.
Well, you're also when you think of memories, you're actually not remembering the moment. You're remembering the last time you remembered the moment.
Yeah.
That's why over time your recollection gets worse and worse and worse.
Oh, this
like
you want the
game.
symmetry of the headphones, Sean?
Now he's gonna flip his around, and then we're gonna.
No, I can't do it. No, I can't. I'm not putting headphones on backwards. I thought I was wearing the
I
shirt.
have to admit, it is not comfortable.
No, I don't like it. No,
they're designed to be. On
is that what you were laughing at?
Yeah.
All right. Stu, when my dogs get sprayed, I got carted buying the special shampoo. It's got
I was going to say, to answer Miss Ravioli's skunk Chanel. Sean's just on the money tonight, man.
What's good skunk smell?
I think he's talking about the old cannabinoids.
Yeah, technically good skunk would be weed, or at least that's what we called it in Canada, was weed.
Yeah.
Would be skunk.
Yeah, it smells like somebody's smelling a little skunky.
Yeah, no, it's got ammonia in it, Stu. So the ammonia would be people that
don't put ammonia in your stew. That's not going to be good. That's not going to taste good at all.
No, the stuff to get the smell out of your dogs has ammonia in it. Well, we got the natural stuff and the ammonia stuff. The natural stuff worked great. So, but yeah, the ammonia stuff, it smells pretty nasty. What's good?
I have to admit, Miss Ravioli, when Aiden said good skunk, it's the bad skunk, I also was puzzled for a moment. Trying to think of what the hell a good
Y'all need to start smoking more pot, okay? Y'all need to start smoking more pot. All right.
It didn't take me long. It took me about 30 seconds, but it was a little bit. It was a little bit.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for dropping by. This was actually a lot of fun. We actually had some decent returns.
We had a lot
Yeah,
A lot
like
happening.
24 at one point. No, yeah, 25. We had 25. Thanks to everyone for coming out. I had a blast. And hopefully you guys are here next week. That'll be a lot of fun, and we'll see you then. Cheers, guys.
Sounds good.